If I were to sum up 2025 in 1 year as a Lego fan, I would probably say expensive. Um, this is the year of the $45 battle pack. And a lot of cool sets that were also like really expensive. Like I feel like it was like we've went to new heights we've never gone before. $45 battle pack. We've gone to new heights we've never gone to before. $1,000 Lego set. In my opinion, the most controversial and craziest of them all, of course, came from the Lego Star Wars line. It's the set we are all thinking of when I think of controversial Lego sets that came out in 2025, the Republic Juggernaut. Like, what is there to say about the set that hasn't already been said? Its size, it's the Clone Tiny tank. They done took all the turbo out the tank. Its price, it's $160. People were very curious and super excited. They're like, oh my gosh, especially because in the beginning when the rumors weren't that it was the Republic Juggernaut and that it was this UT-AT from episode 3, everybody got super excited. They're like, oh my gosh, we're getting Galactic Marines and we're getting the vehicle they share the scene with. And then it got revealed and it was dogged on. I have not seen a best to worst list that like does not have this set at the bottom or the worst. I have not seen a top 10 worst sets of the year list without this thing in it. It has been hated nonstop the entire year. It is for sure one of, if not the most hated Lego Star Wars set of all time. However, all that talk, while it definitely goes noticed, it may just be talk. Because I'll tell you, this past summer, I went to the Lego store on August 2nd, the day after the whole summer wave dropped. And when I went to the Lego store, you know what set I couldn't get my hands on? The V19 Torrent. I really wanted a V19 Torrent. I waited way too long, and that was my bad. But also, another set I couldn't get my hands on, which, talking to the Lego store employee, said sold out just as quickly as the V19 Torrent, the Republic Juggernaut. So for a set that was so hated and so destroyed online, people wanted it. So that's where I'm confused, because for a set that was as hated as it is, it still sold out in Lego stores and was unattainable when it first came out, which is crazy. So today, we're going to go through and we're going to push the Juggernaut to its limits in a series I like to call, Are We For Real? Where we're going to be looking at the Juggernaut's play features, design, looks, aesthetics, vibes. We're doing everything with it to see if this set really is as bad as everyone is saying it is. And finally answer the question, are we for real? Remember, whatever you do, be positive, be creative, and be yourself, and let's get right into it. Y'all, welcome to the workshop, also known as my desk. I got the camera set up right now in like a little bit of like a first person action. You know, you could really put yourself in the perspective of the Lego set player. Nice towel set up here because I'm figuring if we start doing drop tests and stuff and pieces start flying everywhere, that hopefully the towel will be able to catch those pieces so I don't lose anything, because I realized I only have one of these, so if this thing starts breaking, I am going to have to rebuild it every time. So I'm very excited for that. Let's get right into it. So first off, anything to kind of push this set to its limits. I just want to show off the play features real quick. I honestly pretty much have most of them highlighted with this like one Galactic Marine on top here. You can see we got a stud shooter in the back. Wow. It works like pretty much every stud shooter in history. Wow. You have a small rotating turret on top here. Wow. That can also like detach and come off. You can also see the door coming off there a little bit, because I don't know if you want to count that as a play feature or what. That's not coming back on, that's fine, but the door just comes off. Super easy access, you could say, because like it's not held in by anything. So for example, you were to turn this upside down, the door falls off. So that is very nice. Door falling off there is real nice, and it falls off with the turret. You figure if this is like driving through some rocky terrain, okay, that might be like an air to caution. Maybe you don't want to put your clone troopers up top. So yeah, you can see all the different side panels here, and by all the different, I mean the one big side panel that opens to a pretty solid interior, I gotta be honest. There's plenty of room for all your different Galactic Marines, your Jedi. If you want to put some extra clone troopers in here, you can. Okay, hello, I am editing the video right now, and I just realized I never explained why we're dropping the Juggernaut in the first place. Basically, this set is known for being infamously fragile. It has kind of got the reputation of being like a playset that you can't play with because its design is like very fragile for what the vehicle's trying to be. So what I set out to do with this video is see how fragile this really is by grabbing it and dropping it with different force and heights. So yes, now we can get into that. Going into the first test I want to do here, because I've seen a lot of videos of this online, is I'm just going to call it the grab test. I just want to pick this thing up from different spots and see how it handles. Now, thinking about it from the perspective of like a kid playing with this, when I was a kid and I was playing with the Clone Wars sets, those MS were going through war. I was picking this up any which way. I was definitely putting this thing upside down. And as I give an example where I'm picking it up from the back, you can already see we're losing the side door. Oh, and something else fell out over there. So before we've even gotten into me starting the test, we already see this is falling apart. Let's see how long it holds. I shake it and the entire back is gone. That's really nice. We lost about 40% of the set there in 30 seconds. So the unofficial grab test, I would say, was a failure. I'm gonna fix this and then get into the official one. Okay, so we have the set rebuilt, ready to give it the official grab test. There we go. Okay, so we have the set rebuilt, ready to give it the official grab test. I'm not gonna lie, I did not intend for that to happen. I actually cannot believe just prepping to get this thing ready to test it, it has already fallen apart. I was genuinely not expecting that. You know, when I'm doing this, you could say, you know, I got these big Sasquatch hands, but this is not even half as bad as what a kid will do to this thing if they're playing in the Clone Wars. You know, if they're really living the Clone Wars, it was the Clone Wars, it was the clone, no, stop, don't touch our tank like that, it's going to break. So with that, let's get into the next part of the grab test, which I was going to say grabbing it from the front. That's where I've seen most of the clips of this thing having issues. Grabbing it just by its sides like this, and you can see I'm shaking it. I'm really treating this thing like a big baby with a rattle, but it's holding together really well. I definitely feel things shaking, but not in a bad way. And of course, as I said that, you can see here, there's a lot of damage here. You could argue I might have been shaking it a little too hard. I'm going to say no, but even though it's getting loose, it's still holding together. Oh, it's slipping. It's slipping. The entire front is going to fall apart. There goes Commander Bacara. The Galactic Marine's still in the pilot seat, though. You could still roll this thing around. So, result of the grab test, I'm going to go with we're going to go with a failure for this one. So, the grab tests have completed. It got a resounding failure. So at least it's consistent, which is very nice. But especially with those last two tests, I totally understand if you're like, those were not realistic. Like, I'm not going to be carrying it like that. Like, I'm not going to be doing that. Like, I totally get that. I totally get where you're coming from. So right now I want to look into something a little bit more realistic, and that's going to be a drop test. Now, you're probably like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not dropping this thing. I'm not throwing it against the wall. Like, that's not what we're doing here. But, like, I still think a drop test is super accurate, whether or not you're playing and it just, like, falls out of your hands and slips, or if, like, even if you're displaying and you're, like, moving it from shelf to shelf, and next thing you know, you slip and then, boom, the set drops. Because, like, I know I've had many a set in my day where, like, it's fallen and I'm like, I'm not rebuilding it. So let's see if this set like completely breaks down to its core, then yeah, it's probably toast. It's probably cooked. But let's see. Okay, so we zoomed out a little bit. I got the turbo tank on my hands here. Now, the first test I want to do is I want to drop it on its wheels. Say you're like playing with it, maybe you're loading clones into it, and then all of a sudden it slips out of your hands. What's going to happen if it lands here on its wheels from probably like a foot? I think that did really good. The roof fell off, but that's okay because the roof falls off if you blow on it. So that is not a concern of mine. So now I'm going to try getting it off camera. We're dropping it from above the camera, still on its wheels, and see what happens. This would be like it literally accidentally rolls off your shelf. Let's see what action's happening. Oh my gosh. So this did not do as well. I really don't think it's that bad, to be honest. You got about 3 out of the 6 wheels fell off, and you lost 1 door. So, like, maybe you could say this is half the set is still intact. I would argue maybe a little bit more. And Loki, it's still standing up, and it's still rolling. All the clones inside are intact. They're still doing their business. I'm going to say these first 2 draw tests, I completely forgot if I scored the first one, but so far, I'm going to say they both pass. For sure, like, this is different from just picking it up. I expect there to be damage when we're dropping it like this. For it not to completely shatter is honestly impressive. So, thumbs up all around. The next drop test I want to do is, I actually want to drop this upside down. Even though, think about it, I'm going to turn this upside down and the roof is going to go. That's fine. Just because, like, all the examples before, it's super nice that, like, when it falls on its wheel, it's okay. But it's not always going to happen. So I'm just going to turn it upside down, put it on its side, drop it from a high height like this, and see what happens. Because this will be the real test. Like, with that last fall, the wheels got damaged. It landed on its wheels. But the body mostly stayed okay. Is the same going to happen here? We're going to find out. Dropping it in... Why am I doing a countdown? We're dropping it now. Okay, so we lost a lot of wheels this time. One even flew off my desk. Let me go grab that. We had wheels flying everywhere. We had doors falling off. This time we only have 2 wheels that stayed. That is, what, a little bit less than it was last time? And then in terms of the body, all right, the same door fell off. Actually, no, I stand corrected. Both doors stayed on. The back doors fell off, though. Can this thing still roll? It's trying. I wouldn't say it is successfully. We lost our pilot. We lost 2 Galactic Marines in here. Commander Bakara is still here, though. We lost the entire center cockpit. So it's not a pilotable tank right now. And we lost almost every weapon on here. So I'd say this thing is pretty much toast. But Loki, the body still stayed. I'm actually like pretty surprised how much the front has stayed here. Oh, actually, we did lose a door. I didn't even realize this completely fell off. It was just kind of barely holding in there. But yeah, we'll see how the reassembly goes. But for now, based on what we got here, even though it did do better than I thought it would, we got to call this a failure. All right, as you can see here, we moved to studio location number 2, aka my floor. The reason we're on the floor is because we're about to do the final drop test and the final test of the video, dropping the turbo tank from head height, from eye level onto the floor. Just for clarity, I'm like 6 foot. I promise that's not a lie. And I'm going to drop it from above my head onto the towel and see what happens here. Now, you might be thinking, like, we pretty much know how this is going to go based on all the tests we've just had. But here's the thing. The whole point of this video is to give realistic scenarios for things that can happen with your Juggernaut. And whether you're displaying it, playing with it, you can always drop it. So I'm holding the turbo tank real high above the camera here, and I'm going to drop it in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I brought the camera a little lower so we could really assess the full damages here. You could see that the main body skeleton of the turbo tank is actually still here. It hasn't come in half, or at least not yet. We still have a Marine in the pilot seat. I don't know what he's going to be piloting because all the wheels are off. So if we want to do a roll test, that's the roll test. It can't roll because there's no wheels. You can see we have Bakara over here. We have another Galactic Marine over here. I think at this point, all the weapons have failed. And there's not really much here but some scraps. So the full height drop test, we're going to have to say a failure. In terms of overall thoughts, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I really don't know. It actually did better than I thought it would at some points, and worse than I thought it would at other points. Do I think that the hate was justified? To be honest, I'm going to say no. I think that it's very easy to latch on to the negative with stuff like this, and I definitely think there are some parts of this set I don't agree with. However, was it the worst LEGO Star Wars set to come out last year? Honestly, maybe. Probably not, though. But to answer our question of are we for real, I'm going to have to go with yes, we're for real. Thank you so much for watching, and we don't say goodbye around here because it's never goodbye. I'll see you soon. To pick you up on time, you know what I gotta be at your side. Hate me when it's time to leave.